Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to this week's Fiverific Live Craft and Chat, where we craft and chat live. We solve the problems of the world while doing craft. And our project at the moment is the Math Rocks gamified roll the dice to work out the colour we're changing to. So, just popping into the chat to say good morning to everybody while I run through some housekeeping. So today is the first Thursday of the month here in Australia. If you are local in Brisbane region area-ish, we will be meeting up at the coffee club at Loganholme at 6 p.m. So if you want to come along, make sure you DM me so that I can make sure I book enough chairs. And yeah, we're going to hang out there. We'll have a bit of dinner. We'll do some craft, whatever you want to do. And then afterwards we can, go out and go shopping. There's a spotlight in there as well if you want to hit it. Anyway, so let's have a look in the chat. Claire is here. Good morning, Claire. How are you going? Good morning to Leanne. She's jumped in early with the 30-minute timer warning. So that is awesome. Vampira's in the house. Artsag's in the house, and he is not stuck on the couch. That is awesome. Good morning to you as well, Sal. I'm not going to laugh hard. I just reread some of the text messages I sent this morning, and there is plenty of typos. So it is a typo kind of day. Angela, welcome to the chat. It is good to see you. Hello, Bianca. How are you going? Molly Finney is here as well. Kelly, another of our amazing mods, is in the house. Knit Spin Girls has joined us again. It's good to see you. Kerry Randall, good to see you back. John O'Brien, how are you going, mate? How are you going? So we've got lots and lots of people jumping in and joining us. Hey, Francis, how are you going? I tried something a little different. I was getting some messages this morning like, oh, are you going live? Are you going live? I'm like, yes, I am. But so you guys know that any YouTube information I throw out here as well, because I know some of you are creators, some of you are not. But it's still, from a viewer perspective, it's interesting to understand why people try out some different things. And I had heard around the traps that it was actually, didn't make either, it made no difference to your viewers if you scheduled a day or two in advance. I normally schedule on the day before, so about 24 hours to 30 hours in advance before I do my lives. And I was testing something out because I was told you either it makes no difference or it actually increases the viewers if you schedule it only an hour to half an hour before. And I didn't want to do it the half an hour before because I already felt like I was cutting it fine considering what I normally do. But I will tell me it was, sorry, I was just started reading a message. But I wanted to test it out and see how it goes. So for the next few weeks, I'm just going to be scheduling it an hour before the live stream rather than 20 to 30 hours. So we'll see. We'll see. Good morning, Lisby. Good morning, Christina. How are you going? Lurking? That's all good. Lurkers are good. But I would love it if you are lurking, just to pop in and say hi, even just the once, just so I know you're there. Sally says, that was weird. The live went from telling me it was going live in 3 minutes to going live in 10 minutes. Refreshed and it's all good now. Wow. Okay. I don't even know. I don't know the answers to this. I don't know the answer. Yeah, queen of typos. It is a running joke in my family. My husband's like, do you even read your messages before you hit send? I'm like, no, thought, but sent. Good. Out of my brain. That's it. I'm like, you worked it out, right? You knew what I was trying to say. He's like, no. Can you translate? Freaky Geek, hello. Welcome to the chat. Good to see you. Okay, so who here follows me on other socials? Just out of curiosity, if you are here in the chat, who here follows me on, say, Instagram or Twitter? So Twitter is not my Fiverific handle because it is more YouTubery. It's not. So probably Instagram. Instagram is probably the one. Because I shared some photos. I've realized I haven't put them into the fun zone yet, which I will do. So yeah, I'm just checking. Angela says, I follow you on Twitter, didn't follow you on Insta, didn't know you had a Twitter. I do, but my Twitter, I generally keep more to not quite so yarn crafty stuff. It used to be a yarn crafty one, and then I changed it sort of about 18 months ago. So it's on Twitter, I am Chantelle Hills 1, like with the number 1 and on, all one thing, because Twitter doesn't allow spaces. If we follow other than YouTube, it's stalking, right? No. Leanne says stalk you ever except for Twitter. Josephine says Instagram. Okay. So the reason why I asked, someone's giving me love hearts. Thank you, whoever that is. I think it's on mobile, and then some people who are able to test over on YouTube as well. You'll notice you've got some little, like you might have a little red heart at the bottom corner of your screen. I have it in my desktop, but not under Fiberific. I have it on one of my other channels. Is the live stopped? Not as far as I'm aware. So maybe refresh. Hey, Shelley, it's so good to see you. I'm glad you could pop in. So what I wanted to show you all was the blanket that I made this weekend. So I had a long weekend because I've had not a lot of work on. So I decided I'm going to give myself a long weekend. It was an intentional thought. I'm having a long weekend. I haven't had a holiday in nearly 4 years. So I wanted to have a long weekend. Okay, so what I did was I found this amazing pattern. It's called the Gumball Afghan. It's by TL Yarns. There's free pattern on her blog. You can go through and find it via Ravelry. I don't have any links for you. Sorry, you'll need to find them. But I used the Maker, Aaron and Eve, and oh my God, it was the perfect yarn for the project. Are you ready? So here we go. So this is it touching the floor. It's just touching the floor. And so we've got the 6 colors that I bought. And it is the squishiest, like, oh my God, just such an amazing blanket. I'm not kidding. I had not finished it when Abby's come out and she's like, what are you making? And I told her, and she was like, is that for me? And I was like, well, it was for the couch. She's like, and she's just giving me this look. Then I was like, and I was like trying to take photos, and Abby's come out and she was like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm taking photos. She goes, of my blanket, and literally steals it and puts it in her bedroom. So that's high praise. However, I did want it for a couch blanket. And I had all these bits of leftover yarn. Not tons, but enough that it felt like it was too much to bin, right? I was like, I could probably donate it to something. And then I was just like, my footstool, my favourite footstool is dying. Like, it's just a cheapy, made out of vinyl, circular footstool thing. And I'm like, it just needs a cover. It just needs a cover. So I just crocheted a big crochet granny circle, and then worked over the sides. So if you go over and check out the Instagram, there's some photos of that as well. I did not bring that in. So yesterday I'm trying to I've gone into Abby's room to steal the blanket so I could get some photos. And she's like, what are you doing with my blanket? And she was, and I was like, I'm taking photos. She's like, did you ask? Like, it's my blanket, it's mine. Actually, it's quite warm. Actually, I might have to move it. It's very toasty. Very toasty. So Abby has bags it. Anyway, I was taking photos, and she's going to steal the footstool cover that I've custom made for my round footstool. And I've gone into her room, and there she is trying to put it on a square little, I'm like, Abby, it's round. She's like, I can make it fit. I'm like, you can't make it fit. I will make you one. Andrew can, sending the love from the Can Do community. Thank you. Thank you so much. And good to see you here as well. Good to see you. And thank you for the super chat. That's super cool. So anyway, I've taken it back off her, and she was just like, well, you're going to have to make me one in square. And then she's gone, but you're going to have to weave in the ends. And I was just like, hell no. So this one, all the ends are woven in, right? The footstool, I'm like, just poke it in. No one's going to see. No one's going to see. I don't know. I don't think I've made like, because I'm currently streaming in Ecamm, and I don't have all my oh, hang on, there we go. Shelley taught me how to make a super chat thing, so I used Kelly's instructions. Shelley's instructions. So thank you for the super chat. But yeah, creators supporting creators. And like, for those of you that don't know Andrew, you need to go and check out his channel if you are creating on YouTube, or if you are interested in creating, or if you have building a business that you're working with communities. Andrew's your guy. Like, seriously, I love communities. Andrew loves communities squared. Okay. Andrew says, I will say you sound incredible. Thank you, Andrew. I appreciate that. But yeah, so it is, if you want some like more community information, he runs a Discord where it's like amazing help for YouTube as well. Also, he's a little bit of a Disney tragic, which I love so much. I follow his Instagram just for when he hits Disneyland, because I don't know if I'm ever going to get to go. So I love it. I love it. I love the Disney. Everyone's saying hello to everybody in the chat. Sally, you're a champion. Thank you so much for adding the TL Yarns Ravelry link for her Gumball. Now, you can choose between paying for the PDF or going to the blog and getting it for free. And you guys know how I feel about this. Go and pay for it. Seriously. The PDF was phenomenal. It had direct links to YouTube videos for help, for learning how to do things. It's a really well-written pattern, totally worth the $5. Now, if you don't have the $5, go and use the blog. But it is ad heavy. That's what I'll say. And that's how she makes her money, when you get the free ones. And that's okay as well. We are totally okay with people making money off their crafts, and we need to get away from this whole, but she loves doing it, so why charge? I hate that attitude so much. And so if you can't afford to pay the $5, which I get, because there've been months where I'm like, oh, I'm just going to do the free one. Whereas, one of the things I will say is I will quite often go and check the free blog or website one first. Double check it's the pattern that I want. Then go, yep, I want to make this. I can totally tweak it or change it, whatever it is, to suit what I wanted. I did have to do a little bit of tweaking and changing on this. The pattern she used was a DK worsted, and I was using a super bulky. So rather than the 100 odd stitches, I did 80. And I've still got the same dimensions. So it was a big difference. So I've realized I've scrolled the chat back, and then I didn't scroll it back forward. Next time you're stateside, hit me up. I will totally tell you if I make it to the States. That footstool cover is amazing. And it was so simple, honestly. It was so simple. And it just used scraps. I just used up all the scraps. Sally says, Tony's patterns are so well written and easy to follow. This was one of my first... it was actually my first one of Tony's patterns, so I am super impressed. Super impressed. Oh, yeah, absolutely, Claire. Go and pop that into our, what are we calling? That's not the Trello. What is it now that we've moved to? We've moved away from Trello and we moved into, I can't think of the name of the software. Anyway. ClickUp. ClickUp. Sorry. Thank you. My brain was not going to let it go until I let it go. Okay. And the yarn. That's right. I used, for this particular one, I used 6 colors. So 1 ball of each of the 6 colors plus 2 balls of the white. I probably could have gotten away with 1 ball of the white, but I ended up needing it for about half a row. And then it was the savior for the footstool, because I basically was like, oh, I'm going to have so much yarn to make this footstool thing. You guys know how bad I am at judging how much yarn I need. I got to like this big of like a footstool that's this round, and I was nearly out of yarn. I'm like, ooh, okay. And I had to, rejig stitches and, change everything. Because I was basically doing it originally in this half double crochet in the 3rd loop. which I just love the look of how this sits. And it was just like, okay, definitely can't do that. I'm out of yarn. But yeah, the white ended up being a really great foil, and the whole ball of white, plus I probably should weigh it, but I used just about every centimeter of the leftover yarn. So I felt like I didn't have any wastage, but now I'm out of the Aaron and Eve and I'm like, should I buy more to have in my stash just in case I find another amazing like project for it? And I'm like, oh my God, Abby says yes. But that's because she wants something and doesn't want to buy the yarn. So the link for the Aaron and Eve is here. This is an affiliate link for me. So just so you know, makes no difference in the prices for you. And even though she is away, she has someone packing orders. I think it's her mum. So her mum is working for her now. John likes going in the back loop. Yeah, this one's not in the back loop, John. This is the third loop. So hang on, I'll just switch cameras. There we go. So this would be, hang on, we'll flip it around so we've got the front. So technically speaking, that's the back loop, right? But to get this look, we actually tilt it and get that loop there. So the third loop. So it's not that one or that one. We go in and get this one here. So then it rolls the front two loops forward. It looks amazing. So I was thinking, oh, should I do like some sort of like slip stitch so that the green rolls forward as well? And I may well do at some stage, but I am out of yarn. So I can't right now. But I'm wondering if actually just slip stitching around, probably in the green still, will roll the green forward rather than keeping it flat like that, because I would like to bring it to match the rest. I think that would look amazing. But yeah, so into that third loop at the back. So front loop, back loop, third loop. Some warning. Sorry, the flamingo. The flamingo is insane. This blanket is so toasty. I'm going to have to just move it because like it is cold, but it's not that cold. Okay, so let's just jump right in. I mean, we've got the screen and everyone's eyes are already blinded by the flamingo. For those of you that have not been here before, this is actually not the color of this yarn. No camera seems to be able to get the color right. So if you want to see the real hot pink, because it is hot pink, then go and check the Instagram. It's the closest. So the Fibrific Instagram, I post photos every week after our live stream, just so that, actually it's not going to be the pink. What am I doing? Just so that we can get the color so you can at least see it. But I've tried 6 different cameras. So 3 different webcams and 3 different DSLRs or mirrorless cameras, and 2 mirrorlesses and a DSLR, and none of them can get the color in video, but they can in photo. I don't understand enough about video or enough about color to work it out, so we all just kind of pull on our big girl pants and suck it up, and go from there. Okay, so we're going to roll. We need to roll to choose our color. So we've got 7 colors, and if we have an 8, we get to have a vote. Finally, last week we got to have a vote. So let's go for dice roll time. No, yet. Click the right button. It's dice roll. Dice roll time. Roll the dice to choose the next color. Okay. It's dice roll. Oops, I hit the button again, but it shouldn't have done that. Choose the next color. There we go. All right. Let's roll a dice. We have a 3. 3. Who is it that always wants 3? Someone always wants 3 because 3 is an enemy. Actually, do you know what I've realized? Louie's here, everybody. So we've got Louie Cam, we've got Yarn Cam, we've got Knit Spin Girls doing a dance because this is her favourite colour. Christina, you did miss an 8. It was our first roll for last week. Oh, do you know what? I'm sort of like, wow, this hook is like so small, and and I'm like, have I grabbed the wrong size hook? It's because I've been working with a 7 mil and a 6 mil all weekend and really chunky yarn. And now this worsted weight in a 4.5 mil feels fine. Oh my God, my eyes like it's so small. That's so weird. I'm like, zoom in. You can't really zoom in. So Lisby loves it as well. Knitspin Girl loves it. Look, you know what? The purple's just a good colour. I love purple. My mum is purple mad. Like, if I can make her anything out of purple, if I have to choose between like purple and any other colour, and I chose the other colour and she found out it could have been purple, it's like, do you even know me? Do you even know me? No. So, yeah. We're going to keep going here. So what have you all been working on this week? I made a blanket and a footstool cover, and I feel very accomplished this week, because usually I'm like, oh, I did nothing. I did no craft. But I gave myself a weekend off, and I feel great for it. My arms, not so much. They're eased back down now, but they did do the whole we're going to go bright red thing. But yeah. So let me know in the chat, what are you working on? Maybe not be what you're working on right this second, but what is the project that if you've got time to craft, you're picking up? So let me know. And if you're not crafting, because I know not everybody here is a crafter, what are you working on? Are you creating something? I just want to know what you're creating. I did some math post in the fun zone, I think, for my Mosaic blanket. Oh, is your math better than my math, John? Because it can't be worse, really, right? Like, my math's pretty bad. Lisby's working on a cardi for herself. That is awesome. I'm assuming you found a pattern, so that is great. John's been neglecting his Tunisian blanket. Oof. Arctic has been chugging away on the Queen and having a blast. That is awesome. I think I've been seeing your photos over in the fun zone. I'm assuming that's you. But yeah, I'm loving what I'm seeing. Holly has been working on the squares for her knit class. She's a little behind. Yeah, you want to make sure you catch up before the next class. Leonie is making a ham and veggie soup. That sounds amazing. So for those of you that don't know, today is the first day of winter in Australia. And we've been feeling winter for a few days now. It's like it knew it was coming, and it's been giving us some winter practice days, and now it is winter officially, 1st of June here. I don't know what the current temperature is. It's not as cold as it was last week. Last week in this room was so cold. In saying that, I do have a heater on that I'm trying to push warm air in, and I put all the lighting on earlier. Just realized my overhead light's on, so that's why my other lights don't look as good today. Anyway, and I've just realized I didn't put my pink light on. No one said anything. Love the pink light. Anyway, so maybe a couple of these little things that I've done have helped to warm it up in here a little. So, oops, hands back in the shot. The 2 shades of blue is you. Okay, awesome. Thank you. Mosaic is 130 rows, 25 inches. So to get to 90 inches, I need like 330 more rows. Oh my gosh. That's a lot of rows. That's so many rows. Kerry is thinking of doing 2 rows of lace, adding beads to Nim Teasdale shawl, and starting the repeat at the wrong. Oh. I'm assuming that's not intentional. Whoops. I'm spinning up more Advent fiber pack. Today is camel and merino. Oh my gosh, camel is so nice to spin. For those of you that don't know, camels have a soft downy under sort of layer, and it is just divine. It creates the most beautiful. I'm trying to keep my arms off my desk because I haven't put in any desk stabilizers yet, and it's wobbly. Except when I move my hands, I automatically try to tuck them under my, where I normally sit, which means I pull everything this way. So bear with me while I adjust. I've been sitting on the couch crocheting like a crazy thing in very bad posture, very bad everything for the past 4 days. It's been wonderful. Leanne is sewing in ends, crocheting a cardi. It's super bright and made from 6 panels, so it has lots of ends. Oh my gosh. Molly says she was in Tamworth last week at -2 degrees. The other night, it was -2 overnight here, which just, no, -1. It got to -1. And I was just like, no way. And we were freezing. And Tim, who is like king of the, it's not cold, was like, are you cold? I'm cold. Do we need another blanket? First day of winter, and it's the first day it's dry enough to mow the lawn in over a month. Oh my gosh. Kathy Bry is coming in late, hoping my email issues are fixed. This was my 4th time fixing them. Oh my goodness. Yeah, look, emails are tricky, and it's really frustrating when your email stops working. I have to confess that since I moved over to my free Gmail account, I have not had any problems with my personal email. So that's been a few years, but I used to run out of storage space with my like telco provided email address all the time, which meant you couldn't receive emails. People got like a reply message going, receiver's inbox is full, except there was no way they could tell me that my inbox was full. So, you know, frustrating. Trish Becker says it's a beautiful 25 degrees here. Where are you, Trish? Because I don't know if I need to convert to Fahrenheit in my brain, because I'm thinking 25 Fahrenheit's pretty dang cold. But 25 Celsius is delicious. Kathy says I could receive them. I just couldn't reply. Oh, that's frustrating. That's so well, I'm hoping it's all sorted for you. Oh, the kitten who thinks she's so well hidden. You donkey. Just knock everything over. It's fine. And there was nothing on that desk that needed to be there. She's actually creeping down quietly and just jumped on Louis. I think you guys saw her. What are you doing there? She's basically moved over to where the blanket was. She's like, oh, hello, my blanket. Because she sleeps in Abby's bedroom, and that blanket's in Abby's bedroom now. 17.2 here. All the windows are open. It is beautiful. Thank you for converting for me, John. Angela also converting. So that is amazing. 22 in Indianapolis. That is awesome. Trish, I'm in Brisbane. And it's not 25 here. Let me just check. Well, I'm not in Brisbane. I'm a bit south. It's 20 currently. Feels like 18. So, I mean, it's still nice, don't get me wrong, but it is still a little chill, and if you're not in the sun, it's very, very cold. 31 here in central Wisconsin. You guys are heading into your summer. Okay, so I know in Australia we have our seasonal dates start on the 1st of the month and end on the end of a month, but you guys don't do that in the US, is that right? So I'm assuming it's summer for you, but if it is, when did it start? I'm just seeing some chats in the chat, which I love. Now, just as a reminder, I do have a link over in the Fibrific Fun Zone of today's chat. So if you want to share any photos of your projects, then pop those in under the link for today's video so that we know where the conversation is. Because I also would love that ham and veggie soup recipe that I saw about before. I would like that. Arctic says it's 16C here, but I swear it's in Kelvin or Fahrenheit. Kelvin? Is that what you're saying? You swear it's in Kelvin? I don't know how to measure in Kelvin. I know how to measure in Fahrenheit. Are they the same? I don't know. I don't even know. Okay, so the first day of summer will be June 21st for you guys. Okay, all right. So we hit winter like 20 days before you guys hit summer. Yeah, you are talking Kelvin. Okay, cool. Now, guys, I did tweak up my audio a little bit just to try and, fix some balance issues. So let me know if you're happy with it or if you're not. But, I mean, Andrew said it was good. So, I mean, Andrew's pretty amazing with all this sort of stuff. But, you guys are here every week, so you get to hear what it was last week compared to this week. Kathy says, we didn't have much of a spring. We have tried, haven't had rain for a couple of weeks and not expecting any yet. It's been a bit dry here as well. We've been talking about it, at least in our household, that we may have to go and water some fruit trees. We don't usually water our plants in this house. If they survive, they survive. It's like survival of the fittest. So it's like, if you survive, that's good. If you don't, bye-bye. But when it comes to the fruit trees, I do tend to nurture them a little bit more. They get a bit of nutrients. Sometimes they have some water, keep them alive because they make food. Angela says, you sound great. Oh, thank you, Angela. I appreciate that. Kathy says, I love the cushy blanket you made. Oh my gosh. I did show it just before. It's just here. Oh my gosh. I just saw that the kittens moved in next to Louie and Kitten Cam. Hang on. I have to take a photo to send to Abby. Abby's at TAFE. Camera. Oh, it's adorable. Now she's like, now that she knows I looked at her, she's probably going to like bite his tail or something like that. Something mean and vicious because she's a terrorist. Kelvin is the same unit as Celsius. It just starts from 0 at absolute 0. I can't, Jackie, I appreciate that, but my brain's just like, what now? It's a bit early for me. I need more coffee, and I've just made myself tea and hot milk. I can't even say what's in my cup. In my cup right now is honey and hot water. Oh, she is definitely planning her attack. So, I love that she's moved into the Louis cam. Oh, that's so cute. I wonder if she'll come back next week. Possibly not. We'll just take it for this week, okay? We'll just take it. Even if it's 5 minutes. I love seeing it when they're not fighting with each other. These two play together like you wouldn't believe, honestly. Kat says 6 more rows of cable blanket, washing, blocking, and then done. That is fantastic, Kathy. Technically speaking, my gumball throw is not finished because Abby stole it before I could block it. She's like, you can wash it later. Lisby is nil by mouth. I'm assuming nil by mouth, not bill by mouth, but nil by mouth until after your surgery. Good luck today with that. By the way, I didn't get a message to you, but fingers are crossed that it all goes so well. My brain is just like, this yarn is so thin. Just compared to like, this one. Like, yeah, it is thin, right? I used 7 mil for this, and I'm using a 4.5 for that. Oh my gosh. Oh, okay, excellent, Artug. That's about where my brain's at. So I appreciate you translating for me. I really do. Oh, she is. She's just touching him. I thought she was. He also jumps when he touches her. So his reaction could be, it may seem that he's overreacting, but that's because she's only just learning how to touch him without her claws out. So Louis is probably got a little bit of, what is it? Where you overreact to something because you've been conditioned to. Anyway. Yes. We are nearly at the end and back to the pink. Sorry if this row has taken a little longer. My fingers have had to readjust to a finer yarn, which I never thought I'd hear myself say on a worsted weight yarn, but okay. Scissors. And again, so happy I'm not weaving in ends on this blanket. All right. We are back to the pink. Oh, I better write the 3 down. We've done the 3. Pop the pink away, and not the pink, the purple away, because now we're moving on to the pink. Sure, you're not trying to be. Is it PTSD? Maybe just a light version of PTSD. I was thinking PTSD, but I also didn't want to downplay what PTSD is. It's a Pavlovian response. That's what I was thinking of, that one. So Claire is stirring the pot here. Totally stirring the pot. She says she's not, but legit is. What do 2 8-ply make? Okay, so it's basically like a 20-ply. So you basically, the easiest way, and you're not going to know until you swatch it and check, because every yarn is different. But I would say that the easiest way to remember is go the ply plus the number of plies, so plus 2. So if you're doing a 4-ply and a 4-ply and a 4-ply, you would do the 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 3. So it's an extra 1 for each strand of yarn. So for 2 8-plies, it's 8 plus 8 plus 2, which is 18-ish ply. So think of it that way. So that's a definite super bulky. That's not too thick to work with. I mean, it depends on what you're doing, really. It may be the perfect weight yarn for what you're doing. If you want to make a super fast blanket, but I think Nundle actually do a 20-ply. Maybe they do a 16. Nundle Woolen Mills in Australia, they do a really huge ply. But yeah, just as a general rule, it's the number of plies, so 4-ply plus 4-ply plus 2 for 1 for each ply. Yes. So we have been receiving emails at theyarnygirls.com for ideas and questions that you guys want answered over on the podcast. So thank you to those of you that are sending those through, which I think is awesome. Oops. I'm just going off on my own little tangent. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then one more. And then okay. I think I think I know where your math issues come from. Crafty maths is strange. Yes, it is. Absolutely. Did Louie just nuzzle the kitten? I think I just saw Louie nuzzle the kitten. Oh my god. And I can even just say, Abby, watch the replay. I think they've realized that when they're cold and they work together, they both warm up. That would be amazing. Until she gets bored and just eats his face, because that's what she does. She's like, hello, neck, yum, 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 yum. She walks up to big fat old Tibbles, and who just gives her this look of like, don't even, or I'm just going to take you out, right? Because he's a big cat. And she walks up, pretends to be all sweet, nuzzles in under his neck, and then goes, and just literally latches on. And he just is like, nope, and stands up and walks away. And she's like, oh, come on. It's so much. It's kind of funny to watch, but at the same time, I've started like putting my hand up. Sorry, guys. I did remember tissues today, because I added it to my checklist. Tissues and a hot drink. I don't know if anyone's seen, but I've put out a call for any suggestions for a good thermal cup, because my coffee cups are not they're not coping with the cold in this room. My tea's cold. Chicken and rabbit math is just tricky. Yes, it is. Please clip out the plies info, because I was looking at a sweater that used super bulky, but people had used 1 fingering and 3 DK held together to achieve the same weight. Does that add up? It's going to depend on the individual yarns, and if those people have tried and tried and tried, it might add up. But yeah, you want it. You need to check for each individual pattern. You'll need to. I've got a loose thread. You'll need to just double check. But 3 DKs held together. That's so what's that? 8, 24, 26 plus the plus a 4-ply or a fingering weight. So that's like a 31 ply. I mean, that's pretty chunky. Definitely worth looking at. Yes, I've been looking at the Yeti cups as well. A friend of mine in the US suggested them. She wasn't sure if I could get them here, but I've found some. So I am looking at the one with the weird top. So yeah, but also Camelback is another one that I've been hearing about. But they're not inexpensive, so it's not like you can buy one and go, oh well, that wasn't what I wanted. Amelia says cheeky brand. See, I don't want a plastic, because like I've got this guy. This is my water cup, right? I don't want that for a hot drink. I want like I want a different top. Freaky says, I've been pricing Yeti cups in Canada. I'm too poor for that. Yeah, I looked on Amazon and was just like, holy dooly, I'm not spending $100 on a travel cup. But I think because I looked on Amazon for it, it started like Yeti ads started coming up in my Instagram feed and Google feed, and so I found a Yeti Australian store, which I think they're about $30 or $40, which is a bit more. It's not awesome, but it's a bit more. It's definitely more doable than over $100. So yeah, we'll definitely be looking into that. But yeah, Yeti cups is one that I'm looking at. And I did have a look at the cheeky brand, but I thought I only saw those clear plastic tops, and I don't like those for hot drinks. So yeah. Deb D in the house. Hello, lovely. How are you going? I'll have to make a super chat sound to go with my super chat video, won't I? I think that would be cool. Molly says I have a travel cup from Woolly. See, I've got travel cups as well, and I've got one that's a Tupperware one, but it drips. I've got another one that again doesn't seal properly and drips. I've got one that if you knock it over, it doesn't hold the liquid in. It just spills. So I've had quite a few different brands, and I've not been happy for whatever reason with most of them. Maybe I have unrealistic expectations of a I like that. It's a bird. It's a plane. No, it's a super. Oh, that's no moon. That's a super chat. We could have so much fun with this. That's super chat for truth, justice, and the fiberific way. I don't know about that one. That one feels a little self-serving. But, I mean, I suppose all super chats really are self-serving. So, yeah. 33 watching and 19 thumbs up. That could just mean that those people don't like the content. That's all I can put it down to. Or they're not logged in. They may not be logged in, and then they can't comment, and then they can't thumbs up. So yeah. Leanne's just checked. It is a Thermos brand, and it's 38. So yeah, I think we're going to be looking at around that $40 mark for an insulated cup. The other thing is they all seem to be quite small. They all like hold 350 mils, and most of my cups are a bit bigger than that. So I think my coffee machine will be fine. I'll be able to make a coffee in it. Jan Rocks is in the house. Hello, Jan Rocks. Welcome to your first live chat with us. It's good to see you in here. That's true. One needs to be logged in for those things to work. Absolutely. Absolutely. If you want to if you want to chat in the chat, if you want a thumbs up, if you want to ask a question, you have to be logged in for all of these things to work. Jen says I'm in the UK, so it's quite late here and I'll normally be in bed but late up. Jen, I hope you're okay and that the reason you're up is for no bad reasons, but the happy ones. Sometimes I'm just too excited to sleep. So hopefully that's why. And I'm glad that you found us to hang out with while you're awake. Francis has a parcel delivery, a lovely Corriedale in natural silver. So lovely. I love naturally coloured fleeces, honestly. That's one of the things that really annoys me about being allergic to alpaca. Alpaca have over 30 natural colours and you're just like, ugh, it's not fair. I can't use any of them. Where there's quite a few natural wool colours as well. So yeah. Jan says we have a new puppy and she's a bit restless, so settling her down for the night. Aw, we've got a new kitten, and she's just over there. Oops, wrong way. She's just over there. You can just see her in the corner. She's with our little dog. So they are hanging out together in the stream, which we are so excited about because it's never happened before. Angela has been... Bring it on, Angela. It's been nearly a year for you to be a channel member. Congratulations and thank you so much for your support for all of that time. That is awesome. I'm too big to be on the phone, so I use a chair. Oh, freaky. Yeah. Yeah. Look, no, it doesn't really. It lets YouTube know like that you watched it all the way to the end and you liked it. It doesn't send anything bad, but just don't forget. Jan says that crochet is her number one craft. Crochet is one of my many crafts, but in saying that, whenever I'm not feeling well or my brain is hurting or any of those sorts of things where I need a bit more of an autopilot craft, crochet is definitely where I head to. And at the moment, most of my projects have been crochet. Like this one's crochet. I've just finished that crochet blanket. I am knitting a sweater and knitting another blanket at the moment. So I think that's about half and half of my current projects. I mean, there's projects that are in the naughty quarter and those projects that I've forgotten about. They could be spinning or crochet or knitting. Yeah. So I have a question for those of you here watching, and if you're watching the replay, pop it in the comments below. What is your mind-numbing go-to craft? Like if you're sick or if you're sad or whatever reason you need something a little less thinky, what is your go-to craft? For me, it's crochet. I usually let me look here. There is something about the feel of alpaca that I don't like. Okay, if it's blended with wool. Okay. Look, alpaca is a little bit more slinky. So if you are used to the crimp and the texture of wool and then you start working with alpaca, it does feel different. It feels a little more slinky. If you're using alpaca fresh from straight from an animal as well, it'll be quite dusty, quite dirty. Not oily, but dirty. It'll wash out quite easily because it's just dirt. Alpacas are dust bathers. Let me have a look here. We've got spinning or crochet. For Holly, it's crochet. Deb is crochet and knitting. Yeah, I'm a continental knitter as well. Leanne says, be jealous. I made toast and Vegemite. You know what? Oh, you're all ready for it? I'm not that into Vegemite. I'm a Promite girl. I like Promite. So, I mean, digest that. Crochet for Vampire, crochet for Artsog. Angela is crochet as well. most people are crochet, and then Kerry is for knitting. Sal tends not to craft when I'm not feeling well. If I'm like really sick, I don't craft. I just like sit like a zombie and watch television, or I sleep. But if I'm just at that stage before that or just after that, then it's crafting helps me to sort of get my brain back. Stella Lee, Team Promite. Woohoo! I love on a toasted English muffin, smeared with some cream cheese and just a little tiny bit of Promite on the top. Oh, that's what I like. Now I'm like, I have no English muffins in the fridge. I've got crumpets, but no muffins. Knitting for Knit Spin Girls, usually a nice plain sock, but if nothing's working the way I want, face washes. Face washes for me as well. If I'm in total, like, I don't even know where I'm up to at this stitch. I'm just going to restart it. If I'm in, like, total crojo is gone, like my crafting mojo is totally out, I will pick up a stitch dictionary and grab some cotton and make a face washer with a new stitch. So yeah. Amelia says hers is crochet, knitting and piecing patchwork in a simple pattern. I want to try the paper piecing where you hand sew the pieces together for one main reason. Like, I need to put it out there. My hand sewing is dog's breakfast. Like, I would definitely need to improve. But I like crafts where I can sit on the couch, man, and you can't do that with your sewing machine. So, yeah. Who knew there were so many Promite fans? Vampire, not a fan of either. She'll stick with peanut butter. John is at Team Peanut Butter as well. Look, I say that I'm not the biggest, but I will have hot toast with butter on it with just a little bit of Vegemite on it. It's not that I won't eat it. It's just if I have a choice, I'll go Promite. And which reminds me, I need a new jar of Promite because I am out. So I may as well buy Promite cream cheese. Do you know what? Right now, adding it to my shopping list. Hello, shopping list. This is the right glasses for this task. Shopping list. We need Promite. English muffins, and spreadable cream cheese, because I don't want the block. It's too hard. When I just want to make my breakfast, So, yeah. Alrighty. So that's in the shopping list. So check in with me next week. We might do a tutorial on how to make Vegemite toast or Promite and cream cheese on the English muffin. What's the difference between Vegemite and Promite? One tastes better than the other? No. They're made out of different stuff. I can't remember. Like, Vegemite is made out of beer leftovers, so yeast extracts and stuff like that, whereas Promite is more out of vegetables. I don't even know. They taste different. Promite's got a slightly sweeter profile to it, less salty, more sweet. Louis leaving. Where are you going, big boy? It's like, I'm out. The cat's moved in. I believe Marmite's still available in Australia. Yeah. My dad used to use Vegemite whenever he made gravy. So Marmite's you could use it for a similar thing. Yeah, like, seriously, if there's not enough butter, then you can't have Vegemite on toast. And never eat Vegemite off a spoon. Like, I've seen like American celebrities like, oh, I'm going to try Vegemite, and they've got a big dollop of it on a spoon, and I'm like, like, don't do it. But yeah. So yeah, there's definitely ways to eat it and ways to not eat it when it comes to Vegemite. And I feel the same way about Promite. I think too much is bad. Just a little tiny bit. You just want to taste it. You don't want to be taken over by it. Oops, sorry. So yeah. Are we having, okay, there seems to be another discussion happening. For those that like peanut butter, do you like crunchy or smooth? I like both. I have no particular preference. I like them both. And I particularly like them on bits of sliced apple. So I don't know where I got that from, but I like Vegemite on sliced apple. Artwork. I'm going to put it up. Vegemite is truly 100% Aussie awesome, whereas Promite and Marmite are heresy. Okay. Yeah. Oh my gosh, this is funny. This is a great chat, you guys. Like everyone has a definitive opinion, in Australia anyway, about Vegemite. Yeah, Bonox was another one my dad was into. I couldn't deal with Bonox. Nope. Holly likes smooth and crunchy as well. Artsuk says he prefers crunchy, but smooth is acceptable. I'm more my issue with peanut butter is more if it's oily. I don't like oily peanut butter. Yeah. Dark roast smooth. I don't think I've ever seen an option for roasting of peanut butter. I would like a dark roast smooth peanut butter. That does make it sound like coffee though, dark roast smooth. Francis says my favorite brand does a dark roast crunchy. Yeah, see, I'm a peanut paste kind of person as well. I call it peanut paste. But you know, I do try to be multilingual here. Craft peanut butter, it's never oily or dry. Yeah, I don't know which one we get at the moment. I'd have to check. It's got a yellow label. It's one Abby likes, so we're just like, whatever. We'll just get the one that she actually eats. So, whatevs. Whatevs! To roast peanut butter, you need harsh words. Yeah, absolutely. You're oily. Your jar's too small. I don't know. How would you roast peanut butter? I don't know. I wonder if they still make a traditional peanut butter. Like what's a traditional peanut butter? I don't understand what that would be. I'm sure if you went to like a health food place, they would have like a more old school. Oh man, there's a knot. I'm gonna have to cut it out. Jan Rocks is off to bed. It's 2 a.m. Bye, Jan. Thanks for hanging with us. I hope your new puppy settles down. We'd love to see photos over in the Fibrific Fun Zone if you're a member over there. It's free to join. You should totally join up. We would love to see photos. So I'm just going to jump back for a second. And then my question for you all is when you get commercial yarn, like this Maker yarn, and you get a knot in the middle of the ball, which while we all hate it, it's part of the production process. It's, do we just want to pay more for yarn because they have to ditch it? Or do we want to just accept that we have to get a couple of knots here and there? But do you use that knot? Like this pile of that this was? Or do you cut and retie yourself? I'm a cut and retie kind of person. I've made the mistake of allowing a knot that someone else tied into my project, and my project fell apart. So now I have trust issues. So, yeah. Cut and retie for John. I like how Lisby makes peanut butter. That sounds like how I'd like to make peanut butter. Francis says I undo it and double up. Definitely cut and retie. Angela has learnt the hard way. Cut and retie. Josephine is cut and retie. I do see people just working over these knots. And I don't understand how that... My brain won't let me do it. I've tried. Every now and again, I'm like, it's right at the end, whatever. But my brain... But I don't use knots because as a weaver, if you don't have scissors handy and you need to break off a yarn, you can make a weak point by tying it in a knot and then just going like that and it snaps at the knot. So I automatically think of knots as a weak point as well. Oops, I need to cut off. I'm at the end. We're ready for another dice roll, everybody. So in the chat, what color do you think we should be aiming for in our dice roll? So just bin that, move this. Well, I bring this over. Cut and retie, depends on what I'm making. If it can be hidden in the back side, I'll leave it because it uses less yarn. Cut and retie. Knots are a weak point, but they aren't as weak as no knot. Well, I mean, like, look, there's a few spots here where I'm going to have to go in and I'll weave those in, but they're not going to go anywhere. Like how I weave in, nothing's happening. They're not moving. They're going to be woven in and out and backwards and forwards and washed and then trimmed. All right, let's see what we get. Let's see which color we're going to get. Oh, we need to... It's dice roll time. Roll the dice to choose the next color. Okay. 2. Morpho. We haven't had a Morpho for a while. Now both the pets are gone. I might just drop away that pet cam until they come back. Where is the pet cam? There it is. Okay. We are on to the Morpho. We haven't had Morpho for like this many rows. I just heard the cat jump on the screen door. So that's awesome. I still feel like this is so thin compared to the Aaron and Eve. That's a warning for everybody working on different weight blankets. When you jump backwards and forwards, it's going to feel weird. It feels weird. Let me look. Oh, I better write it down. 2. Why is it sad times? Are you writing sad times just because we're not working with purple? I'm with Knit Spin Girls. This one's my favourite. I try not to, no Rooster tantrum thrown. Look, I too would like while Morpho is probably my favourite of these colours, I want to use Rooster because it's the only one with yarn bath. Oh, Lisby is like, that's why she's sad. It's just because we're not using purple. Right. We used purple for the last one. You can't have double purple every time. I mean, just because you got double purple then and then double purple then. So it needs more green. It is time for a stretch. Those of you that can stand up and shake your hands and arms, then do that. Or just sit in your chair and stretch. Brendan is happy. Go, Brendan. Like you and I, we've got good taste with our colours. And look, the purple and the blue look lovely together. They really do. I mean, like it has been a little while since we've had green as well. Yes, agreed. There's a few colours that have been getting no love. Oh, you guys after a triple purple, because you haven't had a triple purple yet, have you? You've had 2 doubles, but no triples. Hydrate time. Yes, excellent point. I might have some water. I'm getting a bit raspy. Oh, speaking of no sugar added, the other night we had KFC or Kentucky Fried Chicken. Is it called KFC everywhere, or is it just Australia that calls it KFC? Um, anyway, I always get a Sunkist because, you know, if I'm going to have a soft drink, like, why not? And Abby brought home a no sugar Sunkist. Now, I don't do diet soft drinks. I very rarely drink a soft drink. So when I have it, I have full strength soft drinks because I don't like the aftertaste and the artificial sweetness. Oh, it's a KFC there for you guys in the US as well. Cool. Because I know here we have Hungry Jack's, but over there you guys call it Burger King. It's the exact same company. But anyway, I don't drink these no sugar versions of soft drinks. It's either got sugar or it was not sweet to start with, like a mineral water. So it doesn't have sugar. Elizabeth, I agree with you. Why would she hate me that much? But she was just like, they don't do it anymore. Like how I can't get lemonade at McDonald's anymore because they only do the zero version. And so I don't drink lemonade and I don't drink cola. So that leaves me, like, I now get a shake at McDonald's because I don't drink cola and I don't drink zero, flavors. Yeah, that's right. It's been girls. Like, I used to love Mountain Dew and I can't drink it now because they add caffeine to it and I can't have soft drinks with added caffeine. Says the woman who can drink coffee like there's no tomorrow, but for some reason, the second they add in that caffeine additive, my heart rate goes through the roof. So, yeah, not having that. I had to reread that because we have a town here called Toowoomba, and it's Toomba fried chicken. Sorry. But yeah, like Toowoomba is one of the towns I used to live in. Anyway, so I don't drink zero drinks and I don't drink cola. And if I do drink cola, I'm going to drink Coke over Pepsi, just to put that out there, because Pepsi tastes like wrong. Coke's not that much better, but Pepsi is worse. And then so I'm like, well, what am I going to start having at KFC? Because I think I'll just have to go 7-Up. I think they do 7-Up there. Or find out if it was just that one thing. But yeah, just like, oh yeah, we've decided that it's more popular to have the zero version. No, it's freaking not. I love sparkling water. I've actually got a SodaStream machine, so I make my own sparkling water at home. So sometimes I just want some fizz and I don't want all the sugar or the flavors. So yeah, and sometimes I'll do what SodaStream says not to do, and I'll fizz up some apple juice. They say not to do that. I don't know why. Why aren't we allowed to fizz up our own apple juice? I don't know. 7-Up is technically a lemonade, I think. But McDonald's does Sprite, and they only do Sprite Zero. KFC does 7-Up, I think. So many food-related hot takes today. I like it spicy, but damn. Fair enough. Yeah, like, I'm just throwing some opinions out there. They're just my opinions. You can like whatever you want, but I like what I like. Maybe it's the combination of the caffeine and the ton of sugar that hits you. I don't know. Because I don't have the same problems with Coke, and that has a ton of sugar. But when they add in, but then, like, I can't have like anything with guarana in it either. Guarana, I think that's how you say it. So there's some chocolates and stuff like that I can't have because it's got guarana. Can't have any of the energy drinks, so no V's or any of those sorts of drinks. So yeah, I don't know. Angela's not supposed to have sugar because of sugar-induced eczema. Wow, okay. John says I can't have the fake sugar. Yeah, I can't handle, there's no medical reason why I can't have the fake sugar, like the aspartamines and whatever else as they are. but I don't like the taste, and I definitely don't like the aftertaste. It ruins any experience. Like, it's like, yay, bubbles, yuck. Yay, bubbles, yuck, every time. I thought Stuart did try to fizz up a juice and it didn't work with the soda. Yeah, I can do like the shelf apple juice. Not the nice fresh apple juice out of the fridge area, but the one on the shelf, the clear one on the shelf. It takes more fizzing. It definitely does. Maybe that's the problem. Like, their little bottles might explode before your juice gets fizzed. I don't know. Kerry says totally no aspartame. Yeah, because like this is the thing, right? Soft drink is bad, okay? It's either bad because of the amount of sugar or bad because of the aspartame. So I'm going to go with the sugar. The sugar I can work off. The aspartame taste, I can't get rid of that for days. Lisby said back in the 90s, I had a beer with guarana. Oh my gosh. Francis says, can you fizz one? I don't know. I've never tried. You possibly could. You possibly could. I fizz up my apple juice with Captain Morgan minus the fizz. What's Captain Morgan? I'm sure this was a really good joke, except for the fact I have no idea what Captain Morgan is. No idea. All right. I did forget to ask what's in everybody's cup. So let me know what you've got in your cup. I've got cold honey water in. Oh no, it's empty now. There was honey water in there, like a lorikeet. Now I've just got water. Oh, it's a spiced rum. Okay, I had a feeling that you were heading towards a boozy recommendation. I've never had. Well, I'm allergic to brown rum, so if it's a brown spiced rum, I've never had it. But I can't imagine rum with apple juice. I mean, that sounds really interesting. Leanne uses organic stevia. See, because I don't add sugar to my tea and coffee. Haven't done since I was a teenager. She says she just has a cup of honey and hot water. But and I don't add sugar to my breakfast cereal. Like, you know how some people sprinkle the sugar over their cereal? I've never done that. But yeah, I just, if I'm going to have sugar, I want it to be sugar, cracked cane, delicious juice, cane juice, crystallized. Thank you. Otherwise, just don't have sugar. I don't have to. It's like it's the same thing I say to my dietitian, because I have a dietitian, for those of you that don't know. I'd rather have no dairy than diet dairy. I don't do diet. I don't do low fat milk. I don't do low fat cheese. I think that's sacrilegious. I don't do low fat yogurt, but I watch how much cheese I have, and I have less cheese, and I watch how much yogurt I eat, and I make sure it's the right yogurt, and I make different decisions on quantities and frequencies rather than going the low version. I don't do the 1% milk. Actually, I do full cream milk on my cereal and on my porridge, and then in my tea and coffee I use almond milk. Diet dairy equals blech. I agree with you. Yes. Why bother? And I feel the same way about diet soft drinks. Why bother? Just have mineral water, or have the full sugar one and have half the amount, or have a little cup instead of a big cup, and make other food decisions throughout the day to consume less sugar. I don't know. Make your own food choices. Yeah, look, I went on to we have what's it called here in Australia? Light white, which is like a 2% fat. So in Australia, milk has 4% fat. And so we went down to the 2% fat for many years. And then, I don't know, one day we had to get full cream for something or other. I can't remember why. Maybe we were out. And then we just stuck with the full cream after that. And then And like, you know, when I talked to my dietitian about it, she was like 100% on board with it, and I've been losing weight. So I don't have diet soft drinks. I just very rarely have soft drink. And I don't do low fat dairies and just have less of it. So, and I'm losing weight. I'm eating ridiculous amounts of food. I'm not going to lie to you. This dietitian makes me eat all of the time. And so I did not think I would lose weight, but I am. So, you know, thanks. I'm eating a lot more protein, and I'm really conscious of the fact of how little protein I was eating before. So, yeah, and it's really helping. Oh yeah, Francis, we're the same. We don't use margarine. My mum worked in a margarine factory when I was a kid, and ever since she worked in a margarine factory, we haven't eaten margarine. So, does that tell you something? Mum says, back in the day, this is many a long time ago because I was little, that margarine is actually grey before they put the yellow colouring in. It's a grey sludge. So I'm like, yay. We have, what do we use? We use it's a butter that's got a little bit of olive oil mixed through it to make it a bit softer. So it's not as unprocessed as proper butter, which we do use for other things. But for butter for sandwiches, we use Bertolli, which is a butter with a little bit of sea salt and a little bit of olive oil in it. It's very nice. Just tastes like butter. Lisby says I eat too many carbs. Yeah, that's an issue for a lot of people. That's an issue for a lot of people. Yeah, so our milk here is 4%. So I'm just checking. Did you say yours is 4% or 3%? Whole milk is 3% in the States. Okay. All right, yeah, for whole milk in Australia is 4%. Apparently, I don't know how true this is. This could be an internet, lie. But apparently margarine was originally developed to fatten turkeys. And then it sort of, how can we sell this to the masses? Oh, a butter replacement. I eat whatever Vampire tells me. Even when she's wrong. She's never wrong. You say thank you, dear. Thank you for making me the food. Sally says, I don't know how, why, but too much dairy affects my endo. Yeah, all different things can affect everyone's bodies differently, and every single person reacts differently to stuff. And I think as long as we are open and aware to the fact that while I can have, butter and someone else can't, as long as I, understand that they can't for whatever reason, and, it's like some people are vegetarian and some people aren't, and some people are vegetarian because they have to be, not because they want to be. Oh, Louie's back. Did you bring a toy? Oh, no, you're cuddling a toy. So, yeah. Like we can all make our own food decisions. If you come and eat in my house, you'll find that there are some restrictions because there's things I just don't buy. So if you want low-fat milk, you bring your own. Stuff like that. Because I'm a bully that way. Like, sorry, I've cooked it this way. Unless I know someone's allergic to something, and then I will try and cook it. However, like an allergy is totally different. It can be due to budgeting issues, unfortunately. Like, okay, so I grew up in a very budget heavy, let's go with that, budget heavy situation. And yeah, there were some decisions made purely because of budget. Margarine is cheaper than butter. But if you just use a hell of a lot less butter, then it works out the same. So just have the stuff that you would put butter on less often. Like don't put butter on your crackers, just put cheese on. If you've got cheese, you don't need butter and cheese. Those sorts of decisions. So, yeah. Anyway, They won't let me bring my milk on the plane. No, and I don't think you can even get it here. Like, you can buy a 1% milk. There's 1% milk here. There's 1%, 2%. There's about 15 different types of milk that you can get at the standard supermarket. I'll have to take a photo for you, John. There's a funny ad in Australia where a lady, the guy walks up to the counter that just says, "Oh, can I get some milk?" And she just starts rattling off all the different types of milks options. But yeah. So yeah. I'm just checking in the chat. Yeah, I think skim is our lowest. It's a 1% milk. It basically tastes like water. I don't know why you'd bother. No. I understand why I had to be on skim for a couple of years for health reasons. I had a lot less milk during that time of my life. Let me tell you, a lot less milk. Skim, yeah. Yeah, maybe and that's the thing. We probably call it something different, so you'd need to just read the label and check it for yourself. Speaking of allergies, I read a sign the other day about eggs, and before it was about peanut warnings. Yeah, there's lots of Game Widows who's in our chat really allergic to eggs. So yeah, there's so many food allergies out there that people aren't aware of. I was in a Stop and Shop and they had a sign, milk, that had milk. And then they had a sign that read natural milk. And that was, really? See, I drink almond milk, don't get me wrong. And I like oat milk. I like that too. But I don't consider them natural milks. Like, dairy milk is a natural milk. Anyway. Dairy milk is also a delicious chocolate here in Australia. But yeah, I just, that's bizarre. That's definitely someone who has an agenda. Skim is 0.15% fat. So more than 1%. I agree. How is almond milk natural? Agreed. They're not even milk. Absolutely agree. I still drink them. I agree with all of these things, and I would never recommend them to somebody who wasn't trying to look for something. Like, we have full fat milk in the fridge. I put full fat milk in my porridge. I don't like almond milk in the microwave. It goes weird. And I make my porridge in the microwave. So yeah. Lisby has a psychological aversion to onions. There you go. I had a friend who really struggled to eat out because they were allergic to spices, and so many spices. And even if her food wasn't spicy, even if they just added just a little bit of something, just as a boost of flavor, they still reacted. And I was just like, holy wow. Nut water, that's another one, and coconut waters and things like that. So many different things. I like a lot of them. But yeah, I had to talk to Abby about describing the almond milk as nut juice, and how I'm not comfortable with that term. But other than that, yes, that's how my father-in-law actually asks the question seriously, and I just look at him like, yeah, okay, cool, moving on. But yeah, it is definitely. I just noticed the comma in words. What? Have I done something wrong? Have I got do I have a comma somewhere? I don't know. I'm just gonna keep. Yeah. Oh, Jen's in the house. Hello, Jen. Yeah, your kids call it nut juice as well. Yeah, it's a kid thing, I think. And John's a big kid. We'll just throw that straight in there. They are valid beverages. Yes, Jackie, I love this. They are valid beverages, but they need to be evaluated on their own nutrient content, and they are not equivalent. Agreed. Oh my goodness, who is this? I have my phone on Do Not Disturb. I'll just make that very quiet. My phone was on Do Not Disturb, so I don't know how they actually rung through. It's still on Do Not Disturb. Yeah, YouTube's got some pretty decent filters in there. But yeah, like every one of these sort of dairy, non-dairy options, or diet, non-diet options, or food options, you do need to sit down and work out why you're changing to it. Does it do what you need it to do? Will it make things in fact worse? Yeah, you've got to make all these decisions yourself. For me, when it came to the choice for the almond milk, one of the biggest things was my nightly cup of tea. And my asthma was playing up, and it was going to come down to an option of no nightly cup of tea because there's no dairy after 3. And now, because I'm having like that, I've been able to bring dairy back in the evenings, which is lovely because I like ice cream. And I like full dairy, evil ice cream creaminess. So changing to the almond milk, while it was a bit of an adjustment, it solves some other issues, and it's made it so that I can have other dairy back in my life. So I'll do it. I actually don't mind oat milk either. It's pretty cool too. But I found that with friends coming over that didn't do moo juice or cow juice, they were usually gluten intolerant, so they couldn't have the nut milk. And I don't like to have like 14 different milks in my own personal fridge. It feels weird enough having 2, truth be told. And what's really funny is I don't notice when we run out of milk so fast, like unless I'm planning on having, cereal for breakfast, which is not every day. And I don't always remember to add it to the shopping list. So that's sometimes an issue in itself. I'm not overly fussed with what alternatives are actually called. I just wish there was more consistency with the naming conventions. In what regard? Like I'm confused by that one a little bit, Artzug. Those interested in how to make your own almond milk. Oh, there we go. Sal's popped in a link. Agree, Game Widows. They're not for everyone, but they are nice options for those that need them. Yes. And sometimes a change is better than none. That was, because I'm quite often, like I said before, like if I have to have low fat dairy, then I'll have no dairy, like it's that simple. So being able to have these options to bring in so that it helps. Oat milk does not taste like porridge. It does not taste like porridge. In saying this, I only ever have the oat milks and almond milks in my tea and coffee. I don't just drink them. If I feel like a drink of milk, I'll just have a drink of milk. I'm not allergic to milk. So for me, it's not a lactose thing. So, I've got the advantage of being able to switch and change. Whereas I know not everybody does have that advantage. And I'm just trialing out different things. So, we're seeing what works. What have I done here? Have I skipped a stitch? Oh, no, I just haven't gone far enough. There we go. Yeah, if I bake, I use cow's milk because I know how it works in the recipes. So, yeah. Jackie says it's the misleading advertising. Oh my goodness. Okay, prime example of misleading advertising. Tim left his lunch at home yesterday, right? So I sent him a message, hey, your lunch is on the bench, you're going to have to pick something up. He's like, cool. Anyway, so he sends me home this photo of what he's picked up, which was like he popped into Woolies and he grabbed like a frozen meal and some fruit, right? And I'm like, you're going to be hungry. He's like, no, I'm not. Look at this meal. This is huge, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I looked up on the front of it, it says high protein, all these things. I jumped up, flipped the back. It was like a chicken curry kind of thing. It was, I had to get Abby to double check for me because I'm like, am I reading this right? Have I, because it says high protein on the front. And have a guess, this meal size, like large meal size chicken korma, have a guess how much it considered high protein. So pop that in the chat if you want to. You don't have to. So have a look at the high protein. Like not have a look at, but have a guess at how much this pre-packaged frozen dinner considered high protein. John says we lost audio after the high protein. Okay. I hope it's back. Jackie's guessing 5. Stella says 5. Audio is good. Okay, so this high protein meal was 0.8 grams for the serve. Not per 100 grams, but for the serve. And I just was like, oh my God, are you kidding? 0.8 was considered high protein. Now, I get high protein wraps. They have 15 grams of protein in the actual wrap. That's not in the ingredients. That's just the flat round wrap. I have a high protein yogurt that has 15 grams of protein in it. I don't understand how I think it was 0.8 or 0.6. It was low. It was low. Like, it did not deserve a high protein sticker on the front. I'm like, what is in this thing? Like 2 little chunks of chicken and the rest is sauce. So John says that is high protein compared to no protein. So yeah, so I was just like, oh my gosh. So I made sure Tim had a nice high protein dinner. So, but yeah, I was just like, and I grabbed these little, I'm going to go and grab one. These, Jackie says we can only tolerate about 20 to 30 grams of protein per meal. Yeah, so I'll have a wrap, one of these 15-gram wraps, and I'll fill it with salad. Because I love salad, and a wrap might throw in some ham or something like that because I know I'm getting the protein from the wrap. Yeah. But I'll go and grab one of these little tiny, these little these things that I grabbed. I keep them in the cupboard for when I want a really, Jackie, so it's based on your weight. So you need 0.8 grams of protein per kilo of your weight. So it depends on what your actual weight is as to how much protein you need. So I need a lot of protein at the moment while I'm losing weight, until I get down to a lower weight, and then I'll readjust and reevaluate. And each time I lose weight, I readjust and reevaluate. Yeah, 0.8 is it should never have had a high protein tag on the front of it. Totally mislabeled it. 100% relied on the fact that nobody read the back. Yeah, 0.8 grams for a kilo. That would be nice. Hang on, I'll grab this thing. Okay. So I just keep these in the cupboard. I grab them when I'm doing the grocery shopping. I don't have them all that often, but they're tiny, right? Like compared to my face, little. And it's just this little pouch, and it's just got rice and tuna. And this one's tuna with pearl couscous, brown rice, oven roasted tomato and onion. And this one is tuna with brown rice, char-grilled corn, black beans, lime and chili. This one's my favorite. It's super spicy and it's so good. But these, wrong glasses, these little tiny containers have 20 grams of protein. This one's 17, this one's 20. And I'm just like looking at his massive portion of like this 400, I suppose it wasn't massive. It was like this 375 gram portion of, like rice and gluggy. Like, that was the other thing. It had like huge amount. Like, what's this one? This one's got 5 grams of total fat. I think he had like 8 grams of fat as well. Anyway, but I was just like, what? Anyway, oh yeah, you did right, depending on your weight. Absolutely, you did, yes. Oh, you do, Jackie. You see them chugging down protein powder all the time. I talked to my dietitian about it. I was like, look, because I need a lot of protein and I've struggled to eat the required amount of food because I'm still not used to eating these larger amounts of food that I'm expected to eat. And I actually asked her, do you think I should go and grab some protein powder to add into my food? And she just went, no, we can get what you need by changing your diet up a little bit, but we can get you what you need. And I was just like, okay. And then she went on to say that a lot of those protein powders, and she's not saying all of them, but a lot of them have got other stuff in them as well that may or may not work for me because she knows that I'm like react to 4 million different things. But yeah, it was just so bizarre. Like that's high protein written on this thing, and then to read the packaging to find that it was like ridiculously low. He was like a Starvington station. And I said to him, like, what snacks did you buy? And he's like, I got an apple and a banana. And I'm like, you're going to be starving. You basically got sugar and whatever this is. And he was like, I'll be fine. And then this afternoon, like in the afternoon when he came home, I knew what time he got home, so I was already cooking dinner. He's come in, and the look on his face when he realised that I had already started cooking dinner was sheer relief. Because he's like one of those people that are a bit hungry when he gets in the door, but I quite often don't start cooking until he gets home because he gets home at random times. But the meal that I was making wasn't time sensitive, so I knew that I could get most of it ready and then just wait until he walked in the door to put it together. Anyway, he was Starvington stations. Abby was like, because I asked Abby, because I'm like, can you read this for me? I think I'm reading it wrong and I can't find my glasses. FYI, I found my glasses, everybody. They were in my craft crate. I don't know what they were doing in there, but they were in there. We are on to another colour. What time are we at? We can have another one. So we've rolled that one already. We rolled that one. So let's roll this one.
It's dice roll time. Roll the dice to choose the next colour.
Okay. Let's clear that off. We have a 5. What's 5? 5 is Parrot. It's red. Let's go the red. I'll write it down while I remember. Where did I put my notepad? 5. Okay. Yeah, like, you know what? Like, everyone can do what they need to do and they work out why, but I would definitely be getting medical advice before you just go adding it in. And making sure you're buying a really good quality one if you're going to get one. Don't just get something you can find at Woolies. That's just my opinion. I am not a health professional. But if you're going to try some of these things, you need to get a health professional. Okay. Now, I really do like this red. This is such a nice red, but it's tonally the same as the Parrot. And I think I say that every time we go to use it. It's such a good red. And I think having it surrounded by this flamingo pink does the red an absolute disservice. So, yeah. Alrighty. Did I lose the chat? Are you all still here? I'm just going across with the red. Oh, yep. Is it still here? Good. Just double checking the chat stopped moving. Is everybody just sitting there like Louis? Don't want the red. I wanted a different colour. I wanted the green. I was so excited. I was like, oh, it's a big number. And then I was like, nope. I thought it was the green, but it was not. Here and present. Thank you, Sally. Stella was putting the dog outside. My doggo is snoozing. I would hazard a guess that if the kitten has gone out of this room, she would be sitting on the arm of my craft chair in the sun. That's what I'm... Knitspin Girl is here, but she is sulking because it's not purple. You know what? What you could do, Knitspin Girl, is you could make this blanket and make the main colour purple. And then you can have all of the purple every second row. That's what you could do. Or you could only have purple as your contrast colour. And again, just have purple for your second row. Still here, just crocheting and watching my fiance play Odyssey. Nice. Kerry's still tinking. Good job, Kerry. You'll get there. You'll get there. I'm so sorry you've got to do that back. I just winding down from a little hissy fit that it wasn't Rooster. We all have our favourite colours. I really want to get Rooster out of the way because there is so much yarn bath over there. I don't even want to look at it. That's how much yarn bath there is. I don't want to look. So, yeah. What other questions have you guys got for me today? We've still got a little bit of time left. We've still got a bit of time. Bianca is editing photos from her trip. Now, speaking of Bianca and names that I see in the chat, just as a reminder, the Caffeinated Crafters is on tonight at the coffee club at the Hyperdome from 6 p.m. If you are local in the Brisbane region and you would like to come along, then come along and send me a little DM just so I can make sure we've got chairs for you. But other than that, you are welcome. Deb was doing housework. Can you come and do my housework, Deb? I vacuumed half of my floor yesterday because my dumb vacuum's battery is dying and then you have to recharge it and it takes hours to recharge. It's a stupid thing. I probably should just buy a new battery, really, rather than sit here and get angry about how I can't vacuum my entire house on one charge. I don't even know what I'm going to have for lunch today. I might have one of these little tuna packs. Although I did have one yesterday, so I should probably have something else. And then I'm going out for dinner tonight, and I'm going to have evil stuff. Yum, yum, evil food. I'm still here arguing with another tangled row of stitches. This yarn is hard to frog at best, but looks good when it's worked up. Yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it? You're like, I will... Are you picking on me, John? It's tuna. Oh, you say tuna, don't you? That's right. I forgot. Americans are tuna fish people. We just call it tuna. It's not even a Chantelle thing. It's an Australian thing. Finished that fibre, thinking about starting the next. Nice. Just remembered I have chicken noodle soup for lunch and making a roast for dinner. That sounds fantastic. Maybe I could make something with noodles. I've got noodles. I might have some dumplings in the freezer. I might make myself up a nice spicy soup with dumplings for lunch. That sounds good. Oh, rambouillet. Nice. I've got some gorgeous rambouillet that I love, and I've got enough for a big project, and I've got it all tucked away and not using it because I don't have a big project that I want to do yet. Leanne says, I do pronounce the T in tuna. Thank you. But do you say tuna or tuna? Like, that's the thing, isn't it? It's the ch that he was picking on, our tuna. I don't say tuna, ever. Sal says tuna. Yeah, because it's like it's a tuna. Like, it's not just tuna. It's tuna. There's a T at the start. But there's definitely a ch sound in there as well, for sure. I won't deny that. I can't deny it because you guys can hear me saying it. So, whoops. Oh, I saw some stuff happening on socials this week. That was another reminder of the differences between the US and Australia. Sorry, guys. You say tune, like tune. I tune a guitar. I don't tune a guitar. I tune a guitar. Anyway, but it was about. I think it was a TikTok or something where a guy had like two things on the counter, and it was like a bottle of water and something. And he was like, okay, so this is $3.50 and this is $3.50, so this will be $7. And the checkout operator was like, yeah, that'll be $7. And then they like scan it and it's like, that'll be $16.50, please. And it's like, obviously it's not quite that bad. But the joke was that all of the taxes, like in Australia, when they brought in all our sales tax laws, the label that is advertised is the price that you pay at the register. That price already includes your taxes. So if there were different states, different stores that had different taxes, that all had to be worked into that, like when they created the labels for the shelves. And so when GST came out in Australia, they made the rules the same. That GST in Australia is our general sales tax. We have a federal sales tax in Australia of 10% on everything. So rather than some things having 20%, some things having 7%, there's a straight 10% sales tax in Australia. But again, the price that's shown on the shelf, so if you're buying a bottle of water for $3.50 and a bag of lollies for $3.50, it's at $7. When you get to the checkout, it's $7. There's no additional pricings added at the checkout, unless of course there's like a price to use FPOS or something like that. And I just thought, I didn't realize that was a thing in the US, because if you were penny pinching and you had $5 in your wallet and you grabbed $5 worth of stuff, like it was not going to be $5. And I was just like, wow, that's and then and everyone I saw replying to the comment were like, yeah, but different states have different taxes. I'm like, yeah, but this store pays the same tax this week as it does next week, right? They could make those labels that are on the shelf the right price. It wouldn't be that hard. Anyway, it's an Australian perspective. We're like, how hard is it to make the labels? They've all got to be printed out, right? Anyway. Oh, and Canada's like the USA. Oh, God, I'll have to remember it, because I do try to learn the different things to expect, but I do shop on a budget and I do add things up as I walk around. So when I get to the checkout, I've got like a rough idea of how much things are going to cost. But I think I would be totally blown away by the different... Like, do you guys have... Like, I understand that you have a different state sales taxes and different... Some counties have different sales taxes. But do you have like different items have a different tax levy? Like I don't even know what to suggest. Like bread has a different tax than bottled water. Like, is that the case? Tuna guitar while eating tuna salad and listening to Tchaikovsky. Yep. That's right. Thanks, John. That's perfectly done. So, yeah, I'm just wondering, like, if anyone can help me with the answer to that question. Books is 7%. Okay, but that's all books, so it doesn't matter if it's a type of book. So, okay. But like, would you buy books at the grocery store, or would that be at the at like a bookstore where all the books would be 7%? Okay, all right, here we go. State and local taxes. Sales tax is the same. In Massachusetts, clothing isn't taxed and unprepared food isn't taxed. That's kind of like here we have GST. So luxury items, or what they considered luxury items, which was a huge, big discussion in itself, all taxed. So all processed foods taxed, but fresh fruit and veggie and meat and, things like that, not taxed. Kerry would love to see the Fun Zone link in the chat. So if one of the mods could throw that in, that would be great. For Massachusetts, the sales tax is 6.25%. Okay, so it's the one sales tax across all the different things that get sales tax. Is that right? So like 6.25% for bread, 6.25% for butter, 6.25%. Like for everything in the grocery store, maybe not butter because that's not processed, but you know what I mean? Like all the processy things. So basically when they print out their little labels for the shelves, they could just add that price on there, right? Is where I'm saying. Where I'm in Indiana, there are things that are non-taxable, and if you get financial help with food from the government, most foodstuffs are non-taxable too, so it's confusing. Okay. Oh yeah, Casey here. That was a huge thing in Australia. Female feminine products, like we all know what we're talking about here, they had GST on them, and so they were considered a luxury item. And it's like, dude, does any female consider this a luxury? Like, no. No, we don't. And it took years for them to take the GST off them. So, yeah, state and local taxes are different. Food have different tax from clothes, and bottled water and sodas have an additional tax. I understand all that. I do. I really do. Like, I come from an accounting background. I understand all that. What I don't understand is why the shop owners can't work that out. If their cash register already has all that information, they have that information. Why can't they put it on the individual dockets of the different things? And if you are like a food stamps or whatever kind of person that you get, then the cash register removes the taxes from that. Like, anyway, we're trying to solve the problems of the world here, people. We're trying to solve them. Huge win. I agree with you, Casey. It was a huge win. Because like in Australia, we really do have the pink tax, and that was a big thing. That was a huge part of it. But yeah. Here we go. Here's the reason why. Because the prices are set. If you add the tax in, stuff looks more expensive. Yeah, it does. But then you know what you pay when you get to the checkout. You're like, okay, this soda is not going to cost me $3.50. It's going to cost me $3.90. Except I'm not going to get to the checkout and be shocked by the additional 40 cents. Because I already know, and I made that decision back over there. Not at the checkout when you're like, oh my God, this is so much more expensive than I thought. Okay. On to the next. Take the parrot off. We're back onto Flamingo. I need to move the Flamingo onto the same page as all the... Sorry, I have everything set up on a little thing. John says, we know there's taxes, so we aren't shocked. Okay. All right. I mean, that makes sense. You guys expect it. You're like, okay. So this shopping is going to be around $100. So it's actually going to be more like $106, $107. Oops, what am I doing? I just want to do this. Okay. My biggest issue with not including the tax in the ticket price is that they're a weird amount which are hard to calculate in my head. Yeah, and that was the other issue. They decided in Australia to make it a straight 10% tax, which a lot of people were like, oh my gosh, 10% more of everything's going to cost so much more. But what they didn't realize was some things are actually charged at like 22% tax, so it actually brought the prices down. But it also meant that they could leave it at 10% for a long time. Although there is discussion now to boost it up to 12% or some crap. Oh, what am I doing? But I don't think that'll ever get through Parliament. Just saying. But yeah, as you guys say, you guys are all used to it. It's just a shock for any visiting country, except for Canada. So is it just America and Canada that does it? Because like I've never traveled the world, right? I've insulated in my own little country. I've been in New Zealand. New Zealand does the same things we do. They've got their own sales tax, and it's all on the shelf. You just pay what the price is. There's no surprises. There's no extras. There is then the tipping percentage to choose that is added to the price after the tax is added at most EFTPOS machines at the register. Something I had to get used to when I was in Canada and the US. Yeah, I mean, the tipping thing is bizarre. I really I would have to, before I think before I do a trip to the US, I'm going to have to sit down with somebody in the US and have a big discussion about it, because I actually don't believe, I don't tip in Australia. Our minimum wage is good, so I don't tip. But I know that your minimum wage over there is not good, and that when someone is offered a job, it's this crappy hourly rate plus tips. So tips are expected. So I'd have to learn how to, what is acceptable and what is stingy, because I don't like being stingy, and go from there. Yeah, and that's the thing, John. I understand that. So I know that, like, there are some, and I know that, like, tips aren't expected everywhere, but they are expected in some places. And yeah, because in Australia, if you pay a tip, that just goes to the store. That doesn't actually go to your server. So you could have had an amazing experience with the server, give them like a 20% of your bill tip, and the store or the restaurant goes, thanks. That doesn't get passed on to the servers here. So so that's why I don't do it. Because I figure the store, when they work out their prices for their meals, that they, make sure that they can. Yeah. John says that my stepmom was a waitress for like 50 years and she made way more than minimum wage counting tips. Yeah. And that's the thing. I understand it's a thing over there. And so I'm not going to be that Australian and go, I don't pay tips. If I'm in the US and I'm in a place that expects tips, then I pay the tip. But I have to understand what that is. And it was like I went on a cruise and I knew beforehand that I would be expected to tip the cabin steward, and there was someone else. So I allowed for that and I brought that extra with me, but one of the girls I was with refused. And was just like, they're paid to do this. It's like, yeah, but they're not paid like Australians are paid. So yeah, it's definitely something you have to think about when you travel. Like, just because it's a way we do it here doesn't mean it's the way you do it while you're visiting. But you still got to get your head around it, if that makes sense. It's like, it's not that I don't want to do it, I just don't know how. So yeah. Okay, that's good to know, John. And that's across the US. That's not like I don't have to like think about different things for different states. That's just across the board. 10% is the minimum, 15% is the standard. I tip 20% or 25% if the service is excellent. Okay. I might have to hit you up again if I get on a plane and come to the US. I know Andrew and a couple of the guys want me to go to Vid Summit, but I just don't know if I'm going to get to go. Vempy says, here in Adelaide, if I want to tip a server, I hand it straight to the server and not the money with the bill. Yeah, that would be the only way you could sort of do it here as well. But then I think they have to put, like in Queensland, I mean, I don't know, it might just be restaurant to restaurant. There's a jar that they have to put the combined tips into. They're not supposed to keep it. So, it's weird. Yeah, Leanne, it looks like John's given us a good breakdown there. So, yeah, these things, like, I want to make sure I do the right thing, and I don't want to rip off these servers, and it's just the cost of going to another, part of the cost of going to another country. So I'm really hoping airfares and stuff start coming down soon. Holly says what John said is pretty standard everywhere. I normally tip 20%. Okay. Because, like, between you and me, Holly, 20% is way easier to work out than 15%. I'm like, yeah, I'll seem generous. I am lazy. Oh. My grandson works in a restaurant and all the tips are divided between the wait staff twice yearly. Oh, there you go. And doesn't that seem ridiculous that they have to wait 6 months? but it's because tips are not considered part of your income in Australia. So yeah, I've seen dishes as you leave the restaurant that you put your change in after you pay your bill. Of course, that's if you're paying cash. Yeah, I've seen like big bowls and stuff like that. Angela says I usually tip 20% unless the service is horrible. If it's horrible, I tip 15%. Jane says in Canada, I found some of the standard percentages were 12% to 18%, or you put your own percentage in. Usually it came up on the FPOS terminal at various stores, not just minimum wage places. So my question is, I was reading a thing. I was watching a TikTok, and there was a TikTok going on about a guy went to a Thai place. They got like $100 worth of Thai food. I'm hoping that $100 worth of Thai food is for way more than just two people, honestly. But they bought $100 worth of Thai food, and because the guy was actually picked it up himself, he did not pay a tip, and his friend was horrified that he didn't tip. And it's like there was no wait staff. So I don't tip, and these were two Americans talking. So there's even discussion of when to and when not to tip in the US. So is that a consideration as well? Like if you buy Macca's, do you tip at the drive-through? Like things like that, or McDonald's, because I think Macca's is an Aussie thing. But if you buy McDonald's, do you tip at the drive-through, or do you just pay what's on the board? Like, because this guy was like, I don't tip drive-through. He's like, I picked up the order. I don't tip drive-through. If an Uber driver had dropped it off, I would have tipped him. But I don't tip drive-through. I tip at the restaurant, and I tip at delivery. Holly says the cost of living here is pretty high, so I'd say 20% is the average here, plus what you said, it's easier. A lot of restaurants will list the tip breakdown on the receipt. Okay. Oh, good. So you don't even have to think about it. It's just on there, and you can just circle or tick whichever one you want. And John says, no tip at the drive-through. So if you were at like a Thai restaurant, but you phoned in an order and you went in to pick it up and leave straight away, would you tip for that? Like you didn't eat in, it wasn't delivered, you just turned up, picked up your order. Alas, it has been 2 hours. Oh my gosh, I just looked at the time. You're right. It's time for you to raise your leg. Okay, have fun. It's becoming, Angela says it's becoming more common to tip in fast food. Really? So I have a question. How is a person coming from another country supposed to work out which are the tipped versus non-tipped places? Because you don't want to look like a stingy butt if you've just didn't know. Like, is it always written on the receipt, like if they're expecting a tip? Like, I don't know. I don't know the answers to these questions. I've never been to your country. And I want to go, and I don't want to look like an absolute butt crocheting here until someone answers my question. Or my row ends, whichever happens first. Because I'm curious about these things. Also, is anyone expecting me to bring anything to Caffeinated Crafters? I'm going to be bringing my little blanket. That's coming. But I don't know what else. The receipt is a good indicator usually. Okay. Oh, that's good to know. Thank you. Oops. 1, 2, 3, 4. If I order food from a restaurant that's a sit-down restaurant normally, but I'm getting takeout, I'll tip a minimum. But tips are for service. Handing me the paper bag isn't really a service. Okay. That's a good way to remember it. Thank you. If I pick up an order at a restaurant, I tip now because I had a friend who was a waitress and she said that the person you get your food from has to put your order together. Okay. But wouldn't that be the kitchen that does that? Like, you don't normally tip the kitchen. You normally tip tip a server. The waitress gets it from the kitchen and hands it to you over the counter. Oh, that's good that Art Sog's healing's coming along. I'm happy to hear that, Banfia. Thank you for the update. But yes, I can see why some people would be confused, even people within America, because there are different expectations. It's 12:05. Okay, Francis. I'm so close to the end. Look, I'm just like here. I'm just going to keep going to the end. If you guys need to go, I totally 100% get it. But I'm just going to keep going to the end of this row. It's nearly done. Because I'm going to just sit here and finish it either way, whether it's live or whether or not I just sit here, like end the stream and then just finish the crochet. So I may as well hang out for 5 more minutes, right? Well, at least that's how I see it. But I totally understand if you guys need to bunk off. Because life, I get it, for sure. And I very much appreciate this conversation between like some of our American friends as well, so that I understand how this stuff works better. And if I ever get to go to the US, there'll be a big discussion about it, so I don't screw up and embarrass myself, because I really hate that. How is this even happening? I'm going to have to check my phone, because it's on Do Not Disturb, and that's the second call to come through. Maybe I've got some sort of, I don't know. I'll have to check. But most people know I finish my lives at 12, so they're probably like, she should have been finished 5 minutes ago. Oh, some places do tip sharing. Okay, I understand. Oh my gosh. So, yeah. The crocheting is done. Now some ends to weave in. Okay. Oh my gosh. All right, guys. I'm going to end the stream and I'm going to answer this call because it's obviously very important. I'll catch you all later. Bye now.